Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about architectural study in Japan, because many of you asked me about studying architecture in Japan, and also as an international student, how is it like to be the language, and also scholarships, and there are a lot of questions about especially studying architecture. So yes, I would like to touch on that in this video. So I'm going to talk about general structure, and then language, and then also scholarships, and then after that I'm going to talk about schools. So in Japan we have bachelor's study for 4 years and then 2 years of master's. And then if you choose to do PhD, you can do PhD, but it depends on the person how many years it takes. I guess it's the same for other countries as well. Universities are divided into 2 categories, and the first one is the engineering-focused university, and the second one is art-focused universities. In engineering-focused universities, students usually learn architecture planning and facility, and also structural engineering as well. Those study, students learn drawings, and also how to make models, and also case studies. So yeah, overall, those technical knowledge comes to base as a school and also course, and that's like the general idea behind the schools. On the other hand, art-focused university, usually students learn those technical things through designing architecture. So usually it's based on studio works. So students are given assignments to design architecture, and through that process, students learn structure, facility, and also architecture planning techniques and so on. So it's just different approach. So art-focused universities usually is more hands-on, and also through experience, students learn architecture and also technical things. And art-focused university tends to have fewer students for one professor. Students-professor ratio is usually better in art-focused university. So for language, yes, I think it's a big question for many international students, and not many Japanese are good at English. In general, we do have English education for elementary school to high school. Many Japanese are good at reading and writing, but speaking is still a challenge for many Japanese. Most of the professors at universities can speak English, and they can present in English, and probably can do classes in English as well. If there are more students who are better at Japanese than English, and if there are only few English speakers, classes tend to be in Japanese. One-on-one is not a big problem, but in classes, sometimes you have to find ways to learn what's going on in lecture. I recommend you to check first which university has options to offer classes in English. And outside of university, train stations, like public areas, usually have English signs as well. I think younger generations speak English better, but still, in general, not many Japanese can speak English fluently. There are different kinds of scholarships depending on where you're coming from and your background, your conditions, and what you're going to do research on. So I recommend you to check information about scholarship that you can apply to. But one of the most famous scholarships for international students in Japan is called a-tekt scholarship. Probably many of you know. And it depends on which country you're applying from, but it can be highly competitive. And I heard that it's enough for a single person to live only with this scholarship. So this scholarship can cover living expenses. So I guess I recommend you to get some information about this scholarship as well. schools. There are lots of good schools in Japan, and I recommend you to just look at many schools and learn about differences. But some of the renowned schools are University of Tokyo, Keio University, Waseda University, Tokyo Institute of Technology, Yokohama Graduate School of Architecture is known as YGSA. And yes, I think they all have probably professors, as pretty famous architects, and they have long tradition and great knowledge that's passed down for ages. So yes, I think those are good options. And something that's unique about Japanese universities is the lab system. So a lab is led by a professor who decides which project the lab works on. So depending on which lab you choose, you're gonna work on specific things, specific research and projects. So it's very important which lab you choose. Basically the professor has big idea of projects or research they work on for maybe like long term. And so in the process of application, I recommend you to start searching for your professors as early as possible and contact them and tell them that you're interested in their research and that you would be part of it, and that's going to be part of your application process. Another thing to note about Japanese university is that most of the architecture schools are based on engineering and technology foundation. So majority of students write scientific thesis, but some of the schools offer options to design as a final project. But if you're interested in designing for final project, or that's what you are looking to do, or what you're interested in doing in master's degree, I recommend you to firstly search for information or ask professors if they allow students to design for a final project. For summary, Japan has very unique academic systems, but I think it's one of the good options to study architecture in Japan because of its age-long tradition and passed down knowledge. And if you're especially interested in disaster-resistant building design, I think Japan is one of the best places globally to study such architecture. And some people start working right after a master's degree, and some people further pursue education. I think language is one of the biggest obstacles for international students to study architecture in Japan. I think Japanese is very difficult, and if I was not Japanese, I don't know if I want to study Japanese. I don't think so. But anyways, I hope you will find a way to study architecture. I recommend you to start searching for information, but I also understand that those differences of education system and common knowledge about schools is not so easy to find on the internet. And I also studied abroad before, and I also struggle to firstly know the expectation of schools and what you're trained in throughout your education, throughout your high school and junior high school. So it's difficult to find those information. So hopefully I can help you to find those information here. I hope this video was helpful at all. And yes, I eventually want to share my experience, my thoughts about Japanese university and architectural field. Please let me know if you have any thoughts, comments. And yes, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see you next time. Ciao!